Hello, it's KRBrickBot, and continuing Carbot's wind down season of redos, we've got the return of one of our favorite combiners apparently. Mighty Guard Axe. Mighty Guard has been axed. Just buying and reviewing this now because I'm not expecting to win one of these from buying chicken. Just plugging this in now, Carbot is currently running a promotion with some lesser known Korean chicken place. Order a Carbot chicken set and you can get some free sticker sheets with a chicken dressed as classic ace. There's 2 sets of these and then a chance for 100 people to win one of the random Carbot products. Or just a free chicken. Collectible exclusive freebies. Anyway, back to the main product. These are not included. So this is following the season 14 style of boxes, like the kind of an axe shape, like some blues, black off to the side. And some various colors of yellow to blue. Yep, there's help, guard, ready, cure. Right on top of the box, you have the cube watch. The product information is off to this side, oddly enough. That is in March of 24. Back of the box is a vertical portrait, metallic and also spacey. There's a Mighty Guard here again. Yeah, this doesn't really tell you the features, it's just a nice picture of them and the new Crew Mighty. That's number 20. They just use the same product number as the old Mighty Guard, but with an axe. And the bottom of the box really doesn't tell you what it does because it's kind of like it just combines. Yeah, we're back to using the plastic trays for giant combiners. Including an unstickered crew with the stickers right behind the sword.
우린 소방 구조 카봇 마이티 가드보다 훨씬 강력해진 마이티 가드 X다. 소방 지휘 차량으로 행동보단 말이 많은 레디 X. 언제나 친절한 소방 구조 헬리콥터 헬프 X. 묵묵히 자기 일만 하는 응급 차량 큐어 X. 불만 보면 끄고 싶어 난리인 사다리 소방차 가드 X가 합체되고 여기에 귀여운 크루 마이티가 탑승하여 최강의 레스큐 카봇 마이티 가드 X가 되지. 마이티 가드 X로 업그레이드 되면서 위기의 순간엔 몸이 2개가 되어 동시에 맹활약을 할 수도 있다고. 우린 최강의 레스큐 카봇 마이티 가드 X. 사고와 재난이 일어난 곳이라면 지구, 아니 우주 끝까지 날아가 해결한다. 나는 불이랑 싸우는 게 좋아. 덤벼라 불, 모조리 없어지겠다. 아뷰! 강력한 물대포 레더건. 마이티 가드 X 제군들, 우리의 진정한 실력을 보여줄 때가 왔다. 마이티 가드 X 출동! 헬프 X의 로터가 합쳐져 무엇이든 자를 수 있는 검이 된다. 메가 소드. 좋은 소식과 나쁜 소식이 있는데 어떤 거 먼저 말할까? 나쁜 소식부터? 나쁜 소식은 요즘 들어 사고와 재난이 많다는 거. 좋은 소식은 나 마이티 가드 X가 모두 해결한다는 거.
Ready, the fire squad car is now yellow. As opposed to red. I guess this is the yellow color that is more visible at night. Yellowish orange type of yellow, which is maybe not the most desirable, but maybe hard to color match. Yeah, so looking at this, unlike the King Guy's axe or even the Carbot Victor, they are very much the same parts, just colored and decorated differently. Yeah, this is very much still a Durango, except this front part, it looks like only this front part has been slightly retooled. And yeah, just literally only the grill. Everything else looks like it's the same type of molding, even though this is like a one solid piece, they just only changed the grill. So this is basically a
Dodge
passing off as a BMW, just someone slapping those kidney grills right on there. A BMW SUV. That's a very minor change, just the grill and the colors. At least there's a nice white striping across here. Hello Carbot Rescue. All the way across, so white striping all the way across as opposed to just the white doors. And not that fire symbol there, it doesn't have that fire symbol, so it's more generic. The siren lights are a bit more visible, even though this is clear. Both of them are clear. Slightly orangish tint. And the rear lights. That's the same mold, but this is painted to be separate headlights instead of one continuous one. So that is the difference that paint can make. So yeah, red and yellow fire squad cars. Who also now sounds exactly like Ace. Because I guess they switched out voice actors, so that's too samey. If these sound exactly like Ace, because they are very similar fire cars. Cure Axe kind of went through a dandy phase, just basically going from the general old style of ambulance deco to the more specialized emergency ambulance variant. Yeah, the greens for reds and the reds for some very greenish neon yellow. That's a very nice neon yellow paint that's very bright. So yeah, it is the same molding, just with different decos, like the very obvious windows. No window on the back, but a lot more paint in the back here as opposed to this. The Carbot ambulance, nicely decoed on there. And this is a new grille design. Much more narrower, that goes all the way across. Has a bit more lattice grille. These kind of like more futuristic headlights. But otherwise, everything else is the exact same details, down to the bumper and the underside. Yep, there's still the 2015 there. I think Cure yellowed very slightly all over when directly comparing it to the pure white new Cure Axe. Help Axe is just a slightly redder helicopter than the original Help. Especially the nose cone. Just that big old red nose cone painted all over. And a bit of extra orange accent striping that kind of brings out the striping here, while this was just molded detail. Nope, that's not molded. That's pretty precise though, to give it a new striping that goes across these new blocks, these new side vent blocks, which really don't look like analog style water cannons anymore. Maybe these are the extra water hoses. 3 side, 2 side. And also some obvious asymmetrical holes. I mean, it's more obvious on this side, so that's for the combination. New combination with accessories, but if you don't imagine these are actually water cannons, it kind of looks like it's losing out on something, because, you know, this just strikes as something that can douse fires, while this is just like a search and rescue helicopter. And this is a Carbot rescue helicopter instead of the National Fire and the 119. This is still a 119 helicopter at least. You even lose out on a Carbot deco here. This is nicely picked out here, but it's just plain white. And the Guard, who is now a traditionally red fire truck than the original yellow fire truck. Yeah, just to really color change that inversely. Which kind of resembles more the generic fire trucks in the show, just reused models, except that was on this model before, so this is still distinct from the generic red fire trucks if they ever come side to side. Yeah, coming to the front, there is some retooling here, some significant retooling at least in the center area. I guess, yeah, the side headlights, they still look unchanged, but the front here, bigger grills, kind of looks more deliberately like an Axe. Although they removed the bull bar. And there are actual sirens molded in here instead of just the flat blocks painted over. So that's something. And then the side, yeah, the side tanks here, these side vents here are still pretty much the same. And yeah, the wheels are the same paneling. Different decos, like yellow on red instead of the red on yellow. There is some more striping here instead of like fire rescue. Fire rescue on both sides. And well, the obvious change is the new chest. The most obvious retooling of the chest for a new slight variation in gimmicks. Is it just me or this is slightly higher? I don't know though. Yeah, even the top looks the same. Yeah, but the lower torso area is much different. Guard Axe now has this giant chest plate looking thing that houses a little crew. The new member of Mighty Guard. Another of the cruiser type of crews. This exact same little cute robot minifigures. Crew Mighty. Yeah, it's a flame yellowish orange in the red and some stickers. Stickers and the visor and chest pieces are individually sealed, so that's nice to see. You don't have to do any sprue punching. Some extra striping on the legs. But on curved surfaces? No, that's gonna be recipe for peeling. And then they have that painted on? Yeah, but it's like a pretty stern face with the same eye styles and a bit of a stethograph, pulse wave, or whatever you call that. Just a minifigure. It's not particularly new. Maybe the leg molding's a bit new. Maybe the face molding's new. Just minor changes, but otherwise a very similar figure. Yeah, just clips right in there. But yeah, also kind of throws scale in question. These little crew guys always are a bit bigger than how they actually are depicted in the show. So imagine this is adult size, slightly bigger than adult size, and then half of that is about the actual size. Just imagine a giant robot riding that thing. Before we get to the combination transformation, just want to address this ladder that doesn't sit perfectly straight, even though it could. Even though it could on the original mold. And it's not just because of this new head. This new head with a removable helmet with the fins that kind of really rub against the sides of this ladder. Uncomfortably scrapey. Even if you remove that, even without that extraneous piece, still doesn't do it. Nope, just springs back up. Yeah, you just have to push it in without anything to get it straight. That seems like softer plastic or something on this little circle nub. What happened here? What happened in the molding process? Or maybe the ladder's not misaligned probably, just Yeah, is that mold degradation or something? If you've seen the Mighty Guard transformation, then there's really nothing new. Just panels down, arms, legs, missile pods that kind of clip really tightly here on this one. Missile pods. Back flap and then head up. Although this one is now double flapped to make clearance for this section. Ready X. Always, as always, parts forms into an arm with a rescue claw, lifter claw. Cure axes are pretty much the same. Arm out, panel forward. Flip inverts for a life gun, the medical juices. This one is not clipping in for some reason. That one's not clipping in right. You have to push this in the center to loudly click it. That was very flexy. Help X. Just detach this and then split this around, the tail fins in. Then turn this around and then attach it to the back. Click on it one side at a time. Even though there are these little recesses that are not sound buttons, but they're still there, including these extra stubs and nubs. I guess that's just to help it align now. Arms up. The accessory loadout placement is different. You can now place this giant water cannon on his shoulder, where the water guns on the help used to be. And then this diagonal offset one is where the rotor goes. So it's on the shoulder now and not the back because of the helicopter cockpit in the back. And thus this helicopter top, that goes on top of the cannon. Mighty Guard Axe is mightier and redder than ever. There are some few minor retools, but the main color difference is basically a color inverse. a predominant red over the yellow rather than the predominant yellow over red, which I think red is a more subdued color than yellow, so maybe it doesn't strike as colorfully as the original Mighty Guard. Yeah, so I guess the yellow pops out more in my opinion with the red here. I guess the red is more subdued off to the arms, a lot more white. Because besides the molding changes, they really did change it up by reversing the cockpit, helicopter cockpit. So this was a nice design to have the helicopter cockpit out in front. It was a good way to differentiate him from the very similar combiner K-Cops, the police scene one, that are very similar in build at the same time. But now with Mighty Guard Axe, they're both kind of samey. Helicopter cockpit in the back with a very fancy chest emblem in the front. And K-Cops is getting a straight redeco, not an axification. Just like possibly non-canon all-stars color, just making him a bit more SWAT black. This side rotor doesn't even spin freely. That's just a friction port, while this one is the same helicopter port. So you had some shoulder spinning action on K-Cops, but not Mighty Guard X. Minor nitpick there. At least the shoulder cannon frees up his hands. I guess this cannon, which he had to hold in his hand, it was a bit unwieldy. This was a bit unwieldy. Maybe because it did blocking away, so... But if you need to get hands-on, you can do that, still. Let's play Spot the Difference. See what parts are the exact same and see which ones are remolded. Well, I think the inner biceps are retooled. That's a very thing to not touch when retooling characters, including the upper thighs. But the lower thighs, they have a molded raised axe on there. Otherwise, it looks exactly the same as the old thighs. The legs are different. The legs are a bit different than kneecaps, with several split details rather than a solid paint on the original one. So maybe that's a little spotty, just less color there. And then, yeah, some more raised blue bits here. Although that's a bit of a dark blue paint, so that's really hard to see. That's pretty smooth here, so just a little extra greebling, just a tiny bit. Otherwise, that legs looks pretty the same. And his leg missile pods, they have more missiles now, so he can carpet bomb even more water missiles than these 3 large ones. I know, these bigger, more powerful bursts are less effective than new upgraded, faster rates but smaller water payout. The back of the shoulders is now the front, which probably doesn't look as good because the turbines only go up to here. So they did fill in these little crevices with some extra raised. These are also raised details. They're not just simply painted in, so I guess that helps it be like pin precise. This is really precise paint here, so you don't see any real slop it. Oh, that's a really tight hinge too. Yeah, so nice little painted lines here to fill in these otherwise empty gaps, and pretty smooth. Thus is a bit screwy. And to take out the sword. And then, yeah, just put that into the mighty sword here. It's a pretty red sword with silver. And this is retooled from the old sword, which does add a bit more to the side. It looks like it's the same design, otherwise just adding a little more side blade to make sure that just flows in this direction, just makes it spread out a bit more, so... That's a superfluous change, because otherwise it looks pretty the same. Maybe the hilt is a bit different, a bit more split out. Yeah, but that does make it a bit more unwieldy and unbalanced. This sword split into a helicopter blade. That's a bit more oddly shaped than this oddly shaped helicopter sword rotor hilt already was. There is some off balance when spinning this thing with its old rotor. Yeah, but it's a bit more, you can feel the more of the off shakiness with this rotor that has a bit more weight on the bottom. New head is very similar to the old head. Like the side wings, the Wonder Woman wings. But he has a green visor and no mouth. Oh no, they took his mouth. They took his superfluous mouth. He has no mouth and he must scream. Yeah, but this is a removable helmet now with a clear red and the green and the neck back bill fire helmet style. Removable head and doesn't look that bad. It has some gold accents that do evoke the original. Pretty smooth cranium. Just so you can give it to the crew mighty. Yeah, just oversized fire-sized helmet now. With no weapons on his own, you know, usually the other crew would get something extra to ride on, even if they don't have little tools. They could have the other cruisers, they could have little vehicles, but he only gets a hat just to do by himself, no other accessories to help him with the rescue missions. Sure, it was a great upgrade to put a little guy inside of them instead of a sound box. They smoothed out his groin. Articulation should be the exact same as Mighty Guard. A full head swivel. 2 forward motion points of the arm, no outwards. 3 points of motion for the legs. Nice legs, not so much in the arms. So this is the side grade of all time. A really obvious retool that doesn't change much from the original. Kinda makes it slightly better, subjectively slightly better or slightly worse in aesthetics. Maybe slightly better in function. Yeah, additional functions. Yeah, but this is just a side grade, that's not a total upgrade, so maybe a bit of a letdown when considering the history of the Axe Carbots. Total redesigns. Now just this Mighty Guard Axe is just a retool. You know Transformers does repaints and retools all the time and we don't mind and actually look forward to those, but ironically in the case of Carbot, it's a bit of a disappointing letdown that they actually did a retool, just minor changes or small changes to color and parts. They usually seem to be good at making all new toys. This kind of feels like it might be a concerning release. A concerning release that they're releasing this minor side grade instead of a new toy. So this may feel like a giant filler and maybe just the only way they could justify bringing a classic character back is giving it a new toy because it has to be on TV, you know, just an old character returning just exactly as it was, like the same old toy, probably just not a good marketing. Just a filler to animate in the Season 14 nostalgia season. So I guess this exists. This retool thing. Which might be fine for like smaller, cheaper Transformers, but maybe just a bit of a risk for a bigger premium toy like this. Or just new colors. Total redecos are fine, but just new retools, there might be something off and maybe helokarbot's kind of declining. We can have the low stakes discussion of when in all of the 10 years of helokarbot did it reach its peak and its decline. I guess arguably might be just year 2. Year 2 was peak, maybe year 3, and then everything else was all downhill after that, or maybe just steady. I mean, that's the old guy's consensus, but not so sure for the main target kids consensus. Well, at least you got multiple options now, and this could possibly happen at the same time, 2 Mighty Guard Axes at the same time, since Axe got a new avatar duplication ability. Although, of course, 2 of this, and not the old version. Just imagine the avatar function just glitching just mirror the old version of them. So if you've still held off on getting Mighty Guard, the big and expensive Mighty Guard, then I guess you have the choice. Your preference will come down to the colors or the shoulder cannon. Maybe that would be a draw. Which is not much of a big draw, honestly, because big chunky vehicles that don't have individual robot modes, not very appealing for the old guys, but for the younger target audience, maybe this could be their first combiners, so that's more appealing. Maybe that's why Mighty Guard is still popular as ever. Yeah, and it's not like Mighty Guard here is like the hard to find. It's not out of stock. This has been recently reissued, several reissues, and this is just a new thing that's maybe slightly higher than retail price, especially for a new release. So this will probably be cheaper, so you might as well go for the old classic cheaper option. So this is the second to last helokarbot release of the season, just a Hawkaxe Big Cube left. Not counting those all-star redeco lines that so far don't have any confirmation of a show appearance, so this is probably how helokarbot ends for the time being. Maybe just a nostalgic callback and maybe a bit of a send-off while it takes a break, or maybe always evergreen. Not changing much, but changing. But in the meantime, signing off.